So yeah, I checked out the fight yesterday. I had to. I'm a boxing coach, boxing fan, and a boxer, so I had to check the fight out. And I must say, the fight could have been a draw. Could have been. Tommy Fury edged that fight out just by the hair on his chin. Honestly. Um, with Tommy, he doesn't have good gauge as far as his range goes. So every time he jabbed or every time he double jabbed, he got too close as to where he couldn't throw any other shots off of the jab. No hooks, no uppercuts, no crosses, no body shots effectively, which ended up in a lot of clinching during the fight. So, he's early in his career too as well. I believe 8 fights before this. But yeah, he edged it out. So, congratulations to Tommy and all. Hopefully he gets back in the lab and studies his, fighting plans and fighting skill set and, finds out how to use his range better. But to Jake Paul, and to Jake Paul's credit, I was not a fan and still am not a full-fledged fan of, the crossover appeal of, YouTubers going to boxing or whatever. But I must say, for one, he showed a lot of heart. A lot of heart. For two, he showed a lot of chin. It was either that or Tommy Fury doesn't have any power. But Jake Paul has been putting in the work as far as, going to the gym and training and sparring and all of that. Of course, I'm not a full-fledged fan because, you skip the amateur ranks. There are a lot of amateurs trying to build themselves up to the point as to where they fight in the pros and get to the magnitude of, business and attention that you've gotten for Jake Paul. But I cannot completely blame Jake Paul. I have to put the blame on the business of boxing itself. Jake Paul found a lane as to where, hey, if all that the boxing champions are doing are competing, getting a belt, and holding a belt hostage, and the champions aren't fighting the champions, here's my way to get in. How can I blame him? How can I blame him? I can't blame him at all. You've got all of these champions out there, the Charlos, Bud, you've got Spence, you've got pretty much belt holders. Like, if they're not inactive, then they're fighting somebody nobody cares to see. So, credit to Jake Paul for finding a lane as to where he fits in and found a way to, make money off of it. He brought his following. He's a brand, and brands sell fights, brands sell tickets, brands make money. These other guys are struggling to build their brand because they're not fighting the other tops in their divisions. And that's in the men's boxing. Even in women's boxing, they're going straight for the undisputeds. They're not wasting time. And I'm not saying that like the magnitude of competition is that much higher, but I'm not going to discredit it. Because if you want to go undisputed, you've got to fight for those belts. And it's too many belts across the board. 4 belts, plus, the Ring Magazine belt. But the top guys in boxing are not fighting each other. Everybody wants to see Bivol and Better Biev. Pretty sure we won't see that fight for another year or so. Everybody wants to see the Charlos. I have no idea where they are. The Charlos one of the Charlos could have gave Andre the run. The top guys don't fight the top guys, and this is what happens when you leave a lane open. A businessman comes in and says, hey, I got millions of followers who can, buy pay-per-views and who can fill up seats. You can't blame the YouTuber business. You can only fault the boxing business. So credit to Jake Paul, man. Credit to him. And credit to Tommy Fury for pulling out the win. Not a bad fight. Not a bad fight at all. Let me know what you think. Give me your input. Drop your input in the comments. Follow, like, and subscribe.